there's no point in slowing down the attack speed of either of these champions, but will definitely be serving its purpose as you're trying to run away from a Seraphine stun or a root that will definitely hit you if you're exhausted.
Absolutely, and it's going to be really hard for... it's going to help a lot, in landing those Syndra Qs that are going to be so key in early fights. I mean, that's going to be where most of her damage is coming from, and having an exhausted target who's slowed down and easier to hit is going to be very, very big.
Yeah, it just looks like we have a bit of a match pause out here. Potentially one player had to go get his chicken nuggets out of the oven, or, his mom asked him to fold his laundry, but no worries. We'll wait on you. There's only about 55 people watching, so take your time. Don't burn your tongue, and we'll be underway shortly. It just looks like we have an unpause, and we're going to get right back into it. I hope those chicken nuggets were good. It looks like both junglers are hovering towards top to start in their blue and red, respectively.
Yeah, I mean, the pathing should be interesting to watch as well for these two junglers. Viego, I'm not too familiar with Viego's typical jungle path, so it'll be interesting to see how they decide to roam around the map, where they exert that early pressure.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we were waiting on Viego just to start. That's the LOL Pro Play, who, again, has just been such a carry throughout this series for his team so far. Anyways, and we're finally underway. Jungle camps will be spawning. The game will be getting going here. And again, TTV, the heavy crowd favorite, who I'm rooting for to fail, because who doesn't love an underdog?
I'm going to try to stay impartial for now. Yep. But
stay impartial? Come on. What are you, an LCS caster? You got to have a fan. You got to have a team.
I want to see, I'm not going to lie to you, part of me really wants to see TTV pop off. You've been hyping them up this whole time, and I do really want to see it, but I do love an underdog too, so I'm split down the middle. It's hard for me to say right now.
All right. So we got one caster on each team. That's enough unbiased potential for me. And an early push into the bot wave by the Syndra Seraphine. It's going to be really, really hard to get stacks under turret, let alone get the CS. So I think a good decision for them to do that early, knowing both junglers did start in the top jungle.
Both junglers didn't start in the top jungle. I'm not sure if that's correct. But yeah, Viego is starting on the red side. He's going to be taking his Raptors and moving up to the top jungle now. They're already pressuring under tower in the bot lane.
Oh, and look at that damage on the Vlad in the mid lane. Yone just doing so much with that empowered Q.
Wow, yeah, I mean, Yone is very, very hard for a Vlad to fight early. Vlad is pretty weak in the early game, at least until he gets level 3, and Yone is not. He is extremely oppressive, especially if he's got a lead on you early, so that's to be expected. I mean, props to the Vlad for staying alive, and he's got his health right back already.
And Yone being able to tower dive at his leisure with that ability that allows him to essentially go back. Seraphine missing every single thing that she threw out, but still doing quite a bit of damage because, hey, that's Seraphine for you.
Yeah, throw everything out, do a little dance. Alistar goes in.
Oh, wow, look at that W up. Just doesn't even care, and that W from Veigar doing so much damage early, hitting Seraphine down to half HP. A good trade from the bot lane of JYC.
Very, very good trade for JYC there. That engage from Alistar was very well timed.
Oh, and getting caught with the cage here, able to land a W, but taking more damage than he gave out there. Maybe just stepping up a little bit too far and even missing a CS as he goes for it. Has to be careful early. Veigar is so squishy. And in this top lane, oh, go for it.
Sorry. What you got to remember about Veigar is that every trade he takes is making him stronger, Every time he hits you, even if he loses that trade, eventually he won't lose anymore.
Exactly. Oh, pardon me. Last-hitting minions isn't the only way to get AP. And look at the Mega Gnar evolution just doing so much damage to the Malphite in the top lane before he gets too tanky to be able to not die. Gnar has to continue to abuse his long range and superior damage to Malphite in the early game.
For sure. That was a great engage as well. And looks like mid lane has gone pretty slowly. He's been pushed in for almost the entire game. It'd be nice to see some jungle pressure come into the mid lane here. Both junglers have been pretty passive, just doing a standard full clear, not really exerting anything massive around the map. And we're going to go to a pause here for a minute.
So it looks like the top laner was lagging there. That would be no one with Gnar. Not too much lag to land that trade there in the top lane, but if we take a quick peek at the map here, we can see that Viego actually just finished top red side Krugs, so could potentially be looking for a gank and might run into some BM here if as soon as the match pause comes unpaused from the top laner having lag, that there is a gank towards the top lane, because it is a possibility at this point. That would be not too much fun. And there we go. The unpause coming out from Slurped in the mid lane, and it looks like Viego is going towards the top lane here. He's just going to look at Tribush and then retreat back towards mid.
Good sportsmanship there, I'll say, from the Viego, to not immediately go and dive the Malphite right after a match pause like that. But looks like we may see him either go for a steal on the Sejuani's Raptors or just head back to base, as he's not going to be able to do much against the Yone mid there.
And Yone able to stop the back of Vladimir. As we are continuing a stalled out game pretty much. CS fairly even across the board. No kills yet. And this is what high level gameplay looks like. We're not going to see 15 kills at 10 minutes. No, this is not a silver game. We're seeing an average rank of mid-plat with a few diamond players sprinkled about, telling their team exactly what to do to make sure that they don't lose too early. And Veigar getting very low on mana. He has to be careful here because CSing without mana is just not efficient at all as a Veigar.
No, it is not. And TTV has to be a little bit careful. If they do let that if they do let the other team get ahead in the early game, if they don't use that pressure that they've got, they may end up with some trouble with the scaling out of Vlad and Veigar in the late game.
Sorry for the bit of a delay in the casting. We're just working out a bit of a technical issue. I think we might be a few seconds ahead while commentating, which might make it a little bit weird when a team fight pops out. So we're just trying to fix that. I'm just going to pause my game, camped 2, and then press play. I think maybe you should do the same thing just so we're on the same page.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to hit pause, 1, 2, and then hit play again. And I think we should be a little bit closer to where the actual gameplay is, which should make it a little bit more interesting to watch. And as I was just saying, the gold fairly even across the board, but still TTV up by about 400 gold, which isn't negligible at this point. It is an entire kill. And so I think that's just from the CS difference in the mid lane, as well as in the top lane. Malphite with 45 CS as a wave is crashing into the top turret. Gnar should be able to recover a little bit of that.
For sure. And while we were talking, I'm not sure if we were able to see it, but there was a whiffed Malphite ult in the top lane. Gnar able to jump right out of there with no problems. Failed gank and a Malphite ult going down, which is extremely huge. That's going to take away a lot of his pressure around the jungle and around those fights as Rift Herald comes up in a few minutes. And
look at that first buy from Malphite. All of a sudden, he goes from somebody who can be taken down to half HP in one trade to pretty much unkillable to Gnar, and Viego is only dealing 80 damage. I mean, he doesn't have that escape with his ult anymore, so potentially if he gets CC'd very hard, he will be able to take that much damage, but already with the grievous wounds, just such a sneaky little buy there from Malphite. Comboing that with the passive, he just turns into an absolute massive face tank.
For sure, and I mean, especially any armor on Malphite is great, but especially that Bramble Vest is going to come in clutch. That's going to take down a lot of Gnar's sustain in lane. Should be a very
and now Viego coming into the mid lane, and a good job by Vladimir to step up when he saw that Viego stepping forward, and he has that recall towards, he knows, hey, you don't get to harass me because my jungler's coming in, able to land the stun, and a great kill into the mid lane. And look at Gnar outputting so much damage. He knows Malphite doesn't have the ult to escape anymore, almost hits the third passive, and now into bot lane, we're getting a little bit of a trade out. But just sustaining for now, a good kill into the mid lane as Viego is up by so much CS. Vladimir really needed that.
That's going to be huge. And you mentioned earlier that Viego has been a monster today. So let's hope that pays off. You know, I know you're rooting for that team. So let's hope that Viego getting an early kill ends up snowballing the game in their favor.
Oh, there's no coincidence that I got very excited there. And now Syndra walking right into a Viego. Wards right in, but able to land the stun. That's a lot of damage now to the Seraphine ult. Just missing it. Viego able to get right out of that. That's a macro play, but a double root now onto both bot laners as TTV has already started the dragon. Enough pressure there into the bot lane, I believe, to finish it. Good play by Syndra and Seraphine. Pardon me, double S's there. A little bit hard to pronounce. Able to secure their team the first drag of the game with an air drake.
Bit of a misplay there from the Viego. Stayed just a little bit too long and wasn't able to get his damage off before he got chased off that fight. Unfortunate for the blue team on that play. The red team does pick up the dragon. TTV going to be very, very big. That ultimate CDR is going to come in huge for them, especially with all those amazing team fight ultimates that they've got. That could come in clutch in the late game.
Look at all that damage onto Alistar. Just because they had that bush warded, they were able to root Alistar into that bush, and now he's already down to a third of HP. And yeah, just going back to that Viego play there, I thought that he might actually engage into the Syndra and Seraphine, but he just kind of stood there for a second after the ward was placed, like, you know, maybe they didn't see me, but indeed they did, and they were able to CC him really hard. Now Viego going in onto the Sejuani just trying to run away. Yone coming in, but he is in his recall, so he doesn't have too much time here. Now recalling back to Bush. That's enough damage to knock the Viego off of that Seraphine, and Malphite now rotating towards the bot lane. Look at all that damage out onto Yone, just completely blown up as Viego and Vladimir decide to turn around on him. Yone, pardon me, just kind of standing still there for a second. Very, very tough situation for him. Now down 0-2-0 in the mid lane. Viego up with 2 kills.
Great gank there from the Viego. Just able to catch him with the tip of that stun, and that's all it takes when you have that much damage on your side. And another kill onto that Viego is going to be quite big. He's going to be able to roam around the map as he pleases at this point.
And now you see Alistar all the way up in the top lane, just backing on a control ward. How the heck did that cow get up all the way there? I don't think he knows what lane he's supposed to be in, but hey, who doesn't love a roaming support? As he continues to help out other lanes. Veigar all the way down in the bot lane, able to soak up some solo CS and solo XP.
Absolutely, and Viego taking advantage of the red team being away, taking away that Rift Herald. That could be potentially massive as well. Are we going to see Gnar go in here when he gets Mega? I don't think so. He's just going to back off and clear this wave. But I'll be interested to see how that Rift Herald gets used.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that Rift Herald got picked up. Good point there. I mean, he loves to use it mid after getting a kill. Now Alistar with the roam again, going into the Yone. Yone is just getting bombarded by ganks left and right. He cannot keep this lane by himself, and a nice ulti onto Vladimir, but Vladimir pulling out of there. Great reaction time with the W to not get knocked up into that Viego ultimate. And now Seraphine in the mid lane. Oh, getting the charm off on Alistar, but the Q is not going to be able to make it towards him. And now Yone re-engaging on the Viego. He's doing a lot of damage here. Just one auto attack away. Seraphine able to clean it up. Now trying to re-engage on the Vladimir, but ulting through, able to heal back up, and a great kill onto Viego in the mid lane by Seraphine.
Beautiful turn there by TTV. Unfortunate they couldn't pick up the Alistar, but I mean, shutting down that Viego is going to be massive for them. That Seraphine ult was so close to being so huge, but I guess it didn't really matter that it wasn't. Just too much damage there from Yone, too much sustain in that fight. We can see he's got the Executioner's calling into Vlad, which really might have helped in that fight, shutting down...
Oh, and now Veigar going for the ultimate, but not quite enough damage yet. Maybe just trying to land another Q and able to get it, but the ultimate coming through. Not going to end up killing Veigar. Able to get the solo kill onto Syndra. Nothing warms my heart more than seeing a Veigar solo kill a Syndra. That's what it feels like to get a point-and-click ult.
I don't know. I think killing Seraphine is a pretty close second, just because it's Seraphine, you know?
Yes. The casters we hate. We should write a book, maybe like a nursery rhyme. The casters we hate. Any sort of point and click ability that will just blow you up.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that could go in there. Although we both do play Vel'Koz, so.
Wait. Shh, cut the mics. Cut the mics. I don't think we're supposed to let them know that. All right, back into this game. Yeah. Enough about us. Just look at total gold. I mean, JYC is up 3 kills to 1, but with the drag and in the increased CS kind of all across the board, especially in the jungle, I actually didn't even notice that. Sejuani is up by 12 CS, and that's kind of equal to the 2-1-0 that Viego has. I know he has a little bit more gold, but with the 1 death, I mean, that's kind of equal gold all around the board, and you're seeing it shown in the total gold amount is completely even. But now with this Rift Herald being placed towards mid with 2 players, that's going to get enough play and get a few more gold. And now re-engaging is Sejuani and a flash over the wall by Viego, but the ult landing into the flash, into the Malphite ult. Are you kidding me? TTV with the big play now into the Yone, oh, pardon me, a great play by TTV to knock up a few members of JYC.
That was a beautiful Sejuani ult. I have not seen one that perfectly aimed in a long time. And I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier with those teamfight ultimates out of TTV. Any one of those ults would have been enough to win that fight, but having all of them so powerful and so able to get those picks really, really makes it hard for JYC to get away.
Did I just watch that? Like, that was crazy. The blind Sejuani ult into the Viego flash over the wall, knowing it connected into the Malphite ult was just a thing of absolute beauty. TTV has to be proud of that, especially because it takes them from being down 3-1 to even 3-3 with 2 drags on their side. Now they just went from a game that was looking to be going the wrong way to a game. Now they're up.
Absolutely. And they saved that mid tower too. That's they got so much off of that play. That was fantastic for them. You can see that, yeah, as you said, the kills are evened out now. They managed to stop that gold deficit because they did save that tower. And it's going to be very tricky for JYC to get that lead back up on them again.
Yeah, now Sejuani, that CS lead that was just keeping her even with LOL Pro legit play. Now Lily Ryan is up by so much. 14 CS, 1-0-1 to a 2-2, and now a stun from Veigar into the Alistar. Knock up and the ult coming through. Not going to do enough damage to Syndra. Alistar trying to follow up. Doesn't have Ignite on him. Is he going to be able to get the last auto attack? Maybe not, but Viego coming through. Able to get the kill onto Seraphine, and that's one more kill in the bot lane for JYC.
That Alistar knockup was absolutely massive. You'll love to see it. I'm a big fan of that champion. He's my boy, so I'm proud to see that Alistar absolutely doing work. He's not as popular as he used to be, as you mentioned in draft, but I think he can still execute with the best of them.
Yep, and now with... Sorry, I don't have the drag timer on my screen right now, but I believe they're just clearing wards around the drag, kind of waiting for that thing to go up. There was a few control wards down there, but I just wanted to say I wasn't even playing the game, and I had so much tunnel vision on those 2 players in the bot lane on Seraphine and Syndra that I didn't even notice Viego was there. So I'm sure just staring at the Alistar and Veigar trying to stun you everywhere walking around, that Seraphine and Syndra didn't even notice that he was there until too late either.
It's like sensory overload, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's too much to pay attention to.
Viego coming out of nowhere and showing us why he's the diamond player for JYC. Pretty much all evened up again after that. Both teams on 24k gold, and you know, Malphite 1-0-1 from those team fights, but I think as much good as this directed camera top is doing us, I don't know if we're going to find too much action with those 2 big balloons in the top lane. And now Alistar W and Viego forward, just getting so much help in the mid lane here, trying to ult back into safety, but not able to get there. Vladimir able to pick up the kill into the mid lane. And this Yone has to be feeling bad, as there has been a tent, an RV, and an entire trailer squad in the mid lane for him all game. He has not been able to 1v1 Vladimir for a single moment. And now the double cage into the double WQ. Huge. Veigar. You say this guy doesn't have a lot of micro, but right there, I have to say, was a bit of a micro outplay.
That was massive. I'm getting all that damage, chunking them both down, and it looks like they'll both have to go back here. That's going to be huge for JYC. And that Alistar play in the mid lane, this guy is roaming like Alicopter. You love to see it. He's been all over the map. He's been showing pressure top, mid, all over the place, and that's really what Alistar excels at. He can head anywhere and really displace people, knock them out of their comfort zone, and set up those kills for his team.
And I think what really differentiates a good Alistar player from like a decent one is recognizing when to not combo the W with a Q. And now the ultimate from Veigar coming in, absolutely destroying the Syndra. Point, click, see you later in base. I hope you enjoy Black and White TV, because that's all you'll be seeing. And just as I was saying, the Alistar, oh my gosh, every time I talk about Alistar, Veigar goes in for another kill, and now just looking for a dive. I think he has enough movement speed there. Now Seraphine trying to ult out of it, not going to be able to get it, and setting up the kill for Veigar. Oh my goodness, Blob Paints is just going crazy.
I think Castle is going to be the hidden MVP of this game. He is locking down so many kills for his team. He's been all over the place, just picking people up left and right. I know he doesn't have that much kill participation, but man, the impact he's having has been huge. And that Veigar damage is starting to hit mid to late game levels, which you love and hate to see, depending on whether or not he's on your team.
You know what? I think I just love to see it. I think I just love to see it. And I think you're right. So far, MVP of the game has to be Castle. This guy is just a monster with roaming. He's been to every single lane more than once, and in the mid lane has helped his team get up to 7-3, where they were previously at 3-3. A very even game now with 2K gold up and a bit of a noodle fight in the top lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, top lane, I think from this point on is going to be a bit of a stalemate until those two champions start roaming down to help their team with fights. Malphite, pretty good at stonewalling just about any champion that he wants. Are we going to see a fight over the dragon here? Castle clearing vision. The Viego's sitting up behind the pit, looking like he might take the blast cone.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to let a team who is down right now to get on soul point before 20 minutes. They've gotten every single drag pretty much as soon as it's come up. This would be very early to go on soul point. And so I think pressuring around that dragon, knowing that they have the increased manpower, they're just going to begin to start it here. Although TTV might not let it go without a fight. Seraphine is back. Yone rotating down and just trying to fight in the top lane to make sure Malphite can't rotate down to help them with this. And Gnar actually doing a surprising amount of damage. Finally, Viego able to secure the Drake without a fight. Good job by them to not allow TTV to go on soul point this early in the game.
Agreed. And very, very smart of TTV to back off and not allow that to, not try to go in on that and get some picks. In a straight 1v1, they might have some trouble. Although they do have their ultimates up, so they may have been able to make something happen, but it was looking unlikely with the amount of damage that JYC is pumping out right now.
Yeah, I think just because they had 4 players near the drag pit and the fact that Seraphine had back, they couldn't do too much about it. But now Gnar a little bit low, and now without ultimate, okay, ultimate coming up, might be able to stun and get him out of that. Sejuani just harassing a Vladimir. You don't see this 1v1 too much as both top laners roaming down now. Vladimir able to do a little bit of damage and get out. Everybody here with just so much HP, it's going to be hard to burst anybody down. Viego rotating up, able to just clear wards around Baron, but I don't think there's going to be any more fights out of this. Now with 20 minutes into the game, you know, JYC is up by about 3K gold. How do you think TTV pushes this one back? What champions are they focusing? What lanes are they going to try to excel in? And how are they going to pull this back into their favor?
Their win condition, if I had to say, is trying to force those 5v5s. They don't have the single target damage, but they do have they've got all of those massive teamfight ultimates, although the Seraphine ulti unfortunately went to waste there.
Yeah.
But if they can stall this out till the late game, get everybody out of laning phase and force those 5v5s, and I think they can really dominate those big team fights and use that to take some objectives afterwards. But other than that, it's going to be pretty tricky for them if they end up getting out-roamed by JYC here before they can get to that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. Basically, every single kill and like pseudo team fight we've seen so far has been limited to 2 to 3 members with not a lot of ults being used. So if they can really group up as a team, maybe 3 or 4 of them together, another flash into the ultimate, empowered Q by Vladimir, just putting so much damage in quickly, a nice pool to get away from a damage, but now a re-ultimate by Yone, pardon me, as he's able to clean up that kill. A great micro outplay by Yone, and now the ultimate coming in from Sejuani. Viego able to dodge it and get right on out of there. A great play by Yone to be able to pick up a solo kill against a 1-on-1 Vladimir in the mid lane.
And that's, again, one of those things that you both love and hate to see, is that Yone turnaround, going from absolutely no health to a full health shield and turning that fight around with the ultimate. I don't even really know how to feel about that, to be honest with you.
It looks like we got some FaZe Zookeeper stands in the chat, who, a reminder, is Yone in the mid lane. Looks like he is an absolute mid-diff player who has just been camped a little bit too hard this game, you know, getting held back by the other team, but now into the mid game is finally able to show his micro prowess. So what a Chad, says Sai, and I have to agree with you there. Absolute Chad play. I wouldn't be thinking about re-engaging after getting flash ulti empowered Q by Vladimir, but and again, I'm not FaZe Zookeeper, so we'll see how that continues to pan out. Now, Alistar might be running into a little bit of trouble here, going in under the Seraphine, but didn't see Sejuani in the bush, and now has to try to get out of there. The W coming through, a teleport going to be coming through from either a Vladimir or a Gnar, and it's going to end up being Gnar in new empowered form to help Alistar get out of there, and that could have been a sticky situation for the cow.
That absolutely could have been. I think his ultimate may have saved him there, knocking away that CC just to get him out of there, but unfortunate to have that down. That's going to take away a lot of his tankiness in those engages.
KillerCon, I don't know who you are, but love you too, man. You were in my earlier game. I appreciate the The positive attitude. Maybe TTV could be using some of that as they are still down 3.2k gold to my personal favorites, JYC, with LOL Pro Legit player in the jungle. And Blob Paints, again, I know I've seen every kill, and I know I've casted every kill, but I just can't believe this guy ended up going 3-0-1 with a CS lead against a Syndra and Seraphine with honestly minimal help from the jungler. It has been mostly a 2v2 fight, which they've been winning, which is very, very impressive. I think a definite champ advantage to TTV. So complete props to them. And as Fault would definitely mention, in a huge part because of Castle.
For sure. They've just been timing their engages so well throughout the laning phase in the bot lane. I mean, waiting for the right opportunities, Castle diving in, using that opportunity to set up the Veigar cage or vice versa. Every time we've seen him do it beautifully, comboing that CC and just setting up Veigar to do the massive damage.
Now we have 9 seconds until the next drag. Who do you think's going to win this one? Both teams posturing around.
Very hard to say. We'll have to see. The Veigar is set up there behind the pit with the Viego and the Alistar. It's a question of whether or not they know that they're all there.
Oh, and Veigar able to land the stun. Maybe not on the right person in Malphite. He is a little bit tanky, but most of that's armor, so still able to chunk him down a little bit with the W. That's going to be the first engage as Veigar continues to try to just zone them off of that drag. Neither team taking the first step yet.
Looking like both teams are being very, very careful here. Neither one wants to give up too much for this dragon.
Now a little bit more damage onto the Sedge. Wanting into the Alistar W. Yone coming. Ulti coming in into the Malphite. Oh, and that's the team fight that we were looking for before. All the ults comboing in. But now JYC coming back with all the damage. It doesn't matter how many people you knock up when you have this kind of damage. Now Cinder just trying to get out with their life. And now Nar flashing forward with the ultimate. Able to get the team down from TTV. That's going to be 4 players down for 1 from the side of JYC. And a drag secured. They landed all the ultimates they needed to, but just getting out damaged in that fight. Is there anything I missed there? Because I'm sure there's a ton. Now a continued extended fight here as Viego and Yone going in. Both players just trying to go, but Viego ends up out damaging as well as the flash of the wall from Alistar to help. Doesn't end up getting an assist, but still there for a bit of moral support. I'm sure you can give a little bit more analysis on that fight than the word vomit I just gave. How the heck do you think that played out?
Well, first of all, I think you covered it pretty darn well. But second of all, huge ace for JYC, and I think the late engage from no one there on the Gnar was really what turned that fight. I mean, the damage was coming out from Blob Paints and Slurped, but no one hitting that big Gnar ultimate and diving into the team, locking them down so they couldn't escape, really is what got all those kills for JYC, I think. The damage from Veigar is a given, but...
Yeah, I mean, 3-0-1 Veigar, now 3-1-4. He's just going to be doing so much damage, especially if he's able to hit that W on multiple people. It's just so exaggerated. I believe Yone, when he ulted over the wall, only hit Alistar, which is a tough champion. I mean, that's not the guy you want to be hitting with your ult. If you're maybe able to hit Veigar, maybe able to hit Viego, or potentially even Vladimir, those would be the kind of people that you'd want to be targeting and trying to focus on. But over the wall, the only person he gets is Alistar, and then has to end up going back over the wall without outputting too much damage and getting run down by Viego at the end of it.
Very unfortunate. I think you're absolutely right. The only ultimate that hit a big amount of JYC's team was the Seraphine ult, and unfortunately she was bursted down right after dropping it, so she wasn't able to provide much in the fight after that.
Yeah, I saw the Malphite ulti going in as well, but not sure how many people that they hit, and JYC now extremely ahead. Almost a 5k gold lead, 7 kills, and evened up the Dragons from being down 2-0 early. And with a Mountain Soul, having 3 other Mountains under your belt on a champion like Gnar, watch out. That's going to be one tanky boy.
And the Alistar as well. And I mean, it's going to make Vladimir even tougher to kill in those fights. With the healing and the Mountain Soul, he's going to be very, very tough to take down. That would be absolutely huge for JYC. You may just get your wish of an underdog win.
Oh my goodness. Nothing would make me happier than seeing this Veigar continue to stomp into the late game. And we talked a little bit before about win conditions for TTV. Those obviously narrowing after that fight. What do they need to continue to do to not let this lead get out of hand too quickly?
Well, what they're doing well right now is keeping up with CS. You can see that most of their lanes, if not all of their lanes, have fallen behind, but they are staying pretty even. They need to be catching those waves, making sure they're not getting pushed in too hard so that they can keep control of the map. because what you would hate to see happen is for them to win a team fight and not be able to execute anything off of it. You know, if they don't have any vision or any waves pushed out, they'll have no priority in any lanes. They won't be able to take towers. They won't be able to push for an advantage. So I think keeping those waves pushed out and getting priority and being ready for those 5v5 fights is going to be what they need to do, and hopefully be able to take those fights and get an advantage. Castle just getting out of there, barely managing to escape that Sejuani slow.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. Even focusing on the pros in their team, if I'm sure they have a team voice chat going right now, if they're able to recognize those things like keeping up in CS and keeping those waves pushed, then just giving themselves the confidence so that they know once they win a team fight, as you said, they're going to be able to do something with it, I think is very important. They are pushed in towers a little bit as they are down 4 towers to 1. But we saw it here today at 6 p.m. and on a whole bunch of other games, especially that last one at 8 p.m., that the swings can come hard and heavy. So definitely 5K gold down is a lot, but they're not out of it by any means.
No, they're never out till it's never over till it's over. And it's looking like we're maybe going to see some action around the top lane and the Baron here. If either team gets some picks, I think that's a pretty free Baron, although we do see the Yone a long way away from the team.
Yeah.
It looks like TTV is maybe just going to back off.
A lot of vision coming out from the side of JYC, and we spoke a little bit about the vision wars that were happening in the 6 p.m. game, and you can see it's happening again. Once you reach this mid-game stage where both teams have a couple of drags, there's a lot of turrets down, and large objectives like Dragon and Baron just start to become exponentially more important. It really is about how you set up that vision before the fight happens, and now with the third mountain drag coming up in 30 seconds, I believe that's where we're going to see a lot of action soon.
What's interesting to me is if you look at the map, Sejuani and the red team have placed wards all over their jungle, worried about that Viego invade, excuse me. And the blue side is almost completely empty in their own jungle. They're not.
Oh, now Viego getting collapsed on here by Sejuani, but Vladimir there as well. Sejuani has to be careful. I know he's a tanky boy, but might not be tanky enough to fight off an AP and AD damage carry. Again, continuing to clear those wards. I love the Q over the wall by Veigar, just to disrupt their setup a little bit. Now starting the drag is JYC. They're going to be able to rip through this thing very quickly if they don't hop over the wall soon. A nice cage by Veigar. He's going to be able to stun the Yone and be able to hold him off. The Glacial Augment, now the W ult coming through. If he wasn't shielded there, he would have been done. But now the ult coming through from Viego, able to land it on 3 people, and now coming back. That Ignite might be not enough to kill him. Now Sejuani caught out in the open, getting caged through, going to be able to go down. Seraphine going down as well. I'm surprised not more than 2 members ended up dying there. A great engage by JYC, and now Sejuani re-engaging. That's not Sejuani, that's a Viego in disguise, able to take down the Yone and get 3 kills as well as a Dragon.
That absolutely baited me. I was expecting the Sejuani Q there, but that was not what happened.
I wasn't
ready for the Viego dunk.
Is that an ability that Sejuani can use? I don't think so. And he hopped out of his disguise right after that, and now translating into a Baron here. I don't even know if they have enough HP to do it, as Viego, Veigar, and Alistar are all on top of it. I think they're going to continue to do it now.
Absolutely. They've got the pressure in the top lane as well. That lane is shoved up. They've got no vision. It'd be very risky for anybody to try and walk up to that Baron pit right now. And I think with Viego, is just going to be able to shred it and stay pretty much at full health. That's the advantage of that champion. He's just so healthy in the jungle. He gets so much lifesteal.
And now it looks like Vladimir is going to go down, but I think the whole purpose of Vladimir being there was just to hold people off of the Baron there. So going down, I mean, not the best thing in the world. He could have tried to get out with his life, but trading a Vladimir death for a Baron, I'm sure JYC is going to do that any day of the year. Okay, it looks like we just got a message from our mods here. We are a bit off sync, so we're just going to pause for 3 seconds here. False, I'll count us down, and I'll just count to 1, 2, 3, and then we hit play, all right?
All right.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, pause. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, hopefully we'll be a little bit more in sync now.
Sorry for that interruption, folks. But
it happens. Right now. Yeah. And continuing to look at that gold deficiency. Now JYC up 7k gold after getting a Baron and 4 kills into the Dragon. I know I've asked this about 3 times now, but TTV, if you're their coach, what are you yelling at them? What are you saying that they need to do differently this time when it comes to fighting around objectives, when it comes to placing wards around the map, when it comes to engaging in fights and really using their utility effectively?
At this point, it's really hard to say. They've been doing almost everything right. The only thing I would say is they have all those ultimates, but they need to be the ones engaging. A lot of the time, they're getting caught out. Either the Yone is getting caught out, or the Alistar is going in and knocking the team up, and they're not able to get the jump on JYC, and that's what's really causing them problems. They have those ultimates and they're landing them, but they're landing them in a position where they're not able to output the damage they need afterwards, and that's just really been their downfall. The Malphite as well in the top lane has not been nearly as impactful as the Gnar in those fights. I don't think we've seen a real impactful teleport out of either of them into any fights this game so far. And that's a disappointment because that's a big boon for either team if they can get their top laner in those fights.
Especially because if either top laner has their ultimate available when they are able to teleport in. I mean, having a Gnar with ultimate up or having a Malphite teleport just to ulti up, and now the engage by Veigar are able to output so much damage. Alistar able to clean that one up as he goes back to the cow pen. But oh my goodness, the fact that you can blow up one-shot Yone is just crazy to me. Flashing over the wall is Viego, able to get a lot of shields there to get off of that Syndra ultimate.
Yeah, and Castle 1-0-10 gets a kill under his belt, and he still gets my vote for MVP of this game.
A support main's wet dream. 1-0-10. What a boss. Now Sejuani trying to engage under turn, able to get charmed by the Seraphine ultimate, and now Viego's going to go down to the Seraphine. Vladimir the only one left, but Sejuani is quite low now, re-engaging, able to get stunned by the Sejuani. Vladimir going back in, healing back up to full. Now Malphite getting stunned by the Alistar and re-engaged, stunned by the Cage, and Veigar somehow has his ultimate up right after killing the Yone, able to get another kill on the Malphite. That's going to be Inhibitor open with Baron minions pushing in. 4 members from the side of TTV down. They might be able to get a few other things here as Gnar is pushing the top Inhibitor. A great re-engage by Vladimir as well as the Cage and ultimate by the Veigar. And of course, Castle with another engage to get his team a kill.
Did you see? I don't know if you noticed that that very cheeky flash Q he sent towards the Syndra after that fight while they were taking the Inhibitor. It is about sending a message, and I would say message received throughout this game.
Oh, sorry, was that Castle who did the flash Q on a Syndra?
It was. He flashed towards her under both Nexus towers and tried to smack her with a Q, but
you dirty dog. And oh no, we are seeing the GGs in chat, which might be the players who were just in the game. So spoiler alert, I think JYC might be looking to end this soon. But until then, we will watch as they are going to go for Mountain Soul, already being so ahead. TTV cannot even contest this as they look to get their 4th drag of the game.
Yeah, I think that this is what's going to put the nail in the coffin for sure. Are they going to move for some picks here? TTV pushing up a little bit aggressively, but they're going to fall back. I'll be interested to see what they can do to maybe defend this, but as you said, if they're already in chat, may have been spoiled for us.
Yeah, I agree with my man Fart Paints. Keep that ish low key until we finish the game. We like a little bit of excitement. Gnar just trying to take down this last Inhibitor. Gets linked by a stun by Syndra. That Q going to do negative damage to him as an 0-3-2 Syndra against a 2-0-3. Gnar with Mountain Soul isn't going to do much. Now Vladimir flashing forward. Syndra forced to flash out. Sejuani trying to re-engage. Not able to land the Q, and now with a super minion in her hand, Syndra throws that forward. Not going to do much to anybody. Inhibitor going to be going down here as there's 2 open inhibs and 2 waves pushing in. We are likely looking at the last fight of this game. Let's see if anything fancy happens here. I'm hoping Castle re-engages. And you know what? I'm really hoping Castle doesn't die here. The stun going to be landed on Malphite into a WQ. Crossbang by Veigar. Now the Sejuani engaged, and Veigar's getting really low here, able to get ulted down. Viego with a great hourglass and not get killed there. Sejuani re-engaging. He's somehow still not dead. The life steal on Viego, able to get through, but now Vladimir pulling in a nice Sonya's from his as well to stay alive and continue to stay alive. Now Syndra going down to the Viego as he re-engages, and that's going to be 4 players down from the side of TTV. JYC is likely going to win this game as Malphite's going to run back into base, save his life as his team goes down. JYC takes this best of 1, 23 kills to 8, getting all 4 mountain drags and every single lane, putting in work. A great game from JYC to put this one away.
Absolutely unreal game from JYC. You don't see a stomp like that quite often, especially against a team that is this potentially strong. I mean, you talk about carries, that 8-3 Viego, 7-1 Vagar with 300 CS. That's pretty hard to top.
But honestly,